So, here we are again. Before we get into it, if you need to be reminded, hit the like button. It really helps. It really, really does. Okay, so I'm gonna change it up a little bit tonight. Obviously, mostly Arsenal, so it is mostly Arsenal. And normally I leave like the random shit till the end. But I'm gonna do it first tonight. Like I say, just to change it up a little bit. And I'm gonna call this section from this point on just my humble thoughts. Now, I was working in Milton Keynes the other day, and I went into Sainsbury's to buy chilled coffee and effectively use the toilet, but I can't go in there or anywhere and just use the toilet. I feel like I have to buy something, so I went and got chilled coffee. And the first aisle I walked down is Halloween stuff, which is, that's fair enough. It's coming up. Then the second aisle, it's all Christmas stuff. And initially, my thoughts were, for fuck's sake, it's not even Halloween yet. But as I walked past it, and I do this every year, so it gets earlier every year. That's what we say. It gets earlier every year. But as I was walking along the aisle, they had like this one section of it that was dedicated entirely to mince pies, and I all of a sudden had this massive craving for a mince pie. So I bought a pack of 6, like a box of 6, and literally ate the lot in one go. And that got me thinking. It's like, right, from this point on, I'm going to flip it on its head. Instead of getting distressed and frustrated and angry that Christmas merchandise is getting earlier and earlier, I'm just going to celebrate it, and I'm going to look at it that it's mince pie time. But then that got me thinking. I was like, I don't know, because I never really look for them, but I love a mince pie. And I then thought, why do they not make mince pies for the rest of the year? What happens to the people that make mince pies? Do they like lose their jobs? Are they like Santa's elves and they just like, they just do other stuff for the rest of the year? Then when the chips are down, it's like, right, let's get making. So these people that make mince pies, do they make them all year round? And like, I don't know, freeze the pastry in the mix and then like really ramp it up around October, November time? Or do they not do anything all year and make the pastry at the last minute? Because let's face it, fresh pastry is better than frozen pastry, and the fresh filling is going to be better than a frozen filling. Or do they have them in shops all year round and I just don't fucking notice? I don't know. So if anyone possibly answer that question for me, pop it in the comments down below, or jump into my Twitter and let me know, because obviously I'm not going to know whether it's an all year round thing till at least January now, so it's going to be bugging me a little bit. That's kind of what I've been thinking about. But yeah, I do love a mince pie, but then I'm thinking, do I only love them because I only buy them around Christmas and I gorge myself on them? Or do I, if they were made all year round and I had access to them all year round, would I not love them so much at Christmas, or would I not love them at all? I don't know. I've been in other supermarkets since, in other places I've been working in. I don't just dwell in supermarkets, by the way. I just tend to use supermarkets when I need a piss and buy a chilled coffee. But yeah, I'm curious. So let me know, please. It will put my mind at rest immeasurably. Right, that's the random shit out of the way. There's a couple of bits I want to talk about. Obviously, there ain't been much going on with the international break, but obviously there was the interview with Mr. White on Sky Sports, and it shouldn't really need to be spoken about, but everyone seems to be losing their shit over a couple of things he said, and it's made it really relevant, and I feel compelled to jump in and throw my tuppence worth in. Like, the first one is his name. It's like, before I saw the interview, I just saw the thing on Twitter, and there was like somebody posted a picture of the Sky Sports studio, and beyond there's a big screen that says "Call me Benjamin." It's like, mate, I watched the interview afterwards, or after I'd seen the screenshot, And watching the interview, like, the guy said, "Oh, I looked at your Twitter. I hadn't bothered to look at your Instagram, so you hadn't really researched him properly. You just looked at his Twitter." Said, "Oh, see, you've got Benjamin as your Twitter name." And he's like, you know, "What name do you prefer, or what do you want to be called?" And Benjamin said, "Call me whatever you want, you know." And then he said, "Well, why Benjamin?" Which is literally one of the most stupid fucking questions I've ever heard. Because that's my name. And I might not respond otherwise, which was a throwaway comment at the end. But the thing I took from it was just like, I'm not really fussed. You know, Benjamin's my name. It's what I was, you know, the name I was given by my parents. But you can call me what you want. But Sky had to make this huge issue about call me Benjamin. And then they even alighted to the whole Andrew Cole thing from fucking, 20 years ago. And it's like, people are going nuts about that, but people are going even more nuts about the fact that he don't watch football. Which, I mean, so what? I literally couldn't give less than half a fuck whether he watches football or not. All I'm bothered about is that he does the job that we require of him as a central defender for Arsenal Football Club. As long as he does that and he fulfills our expectations and the expectations of the club, as long as he fulfills his role as an ambassador for the club and he does the right things in the right way, I don't care. I'm a photographer. I don't sit there in my spare time watching people take photos of stuff. That would bore me senseless. And obviously, I never played at his level, but you know, when I was in my 20s, I was lucky enough to get to like semi-professional level. I didn't watch football then. I watched probably match of the day on a Saturday night, but that was it. Because it's something you focus on, and some people will completely immerse themselves in that world, and others will want to get away from it when they're not in it. Maybe that's their way of dealing with the pressures of that job. And I know I've used the example of what I do for a living. I know being a footballer, professional footballer, or professional athlete of any sort, is not a normal job, and the pressures must be absolutely fucking unbelievable. But does it really matter? Why have people like took it and run with it? I've seen so many like large YouTube and Twitter accounts like going into it. So it's not even newsworthy. It really isn't. You know, we all watch a ridiculous amount of football, but we're not professional footballers. You know, we watch it because we love the game. In my case, I'm very, very obsessed with it, and I watch as much as I can humanly take in, which effectively means as much as I'm allowed to watch by the ladies that I live with. But again, I am not a professional footballer. You know, I'm just some geezer that likes talking about it, and I've got this love for the game. And not only that, when I do stuff like this, or if somebody invites me on one of their channels, you know, I want to be as educated as possible, and not look like a complete fucking muppet, to be honest. It's just, it shouldn't even be a talking point, but it is, and I've said my bit. It is relevant because of the amount of coverage it's been getting on the socials. But like I say, as long as he like conducts himself in the correct way as a player, as an ambassador, as a role model, you know, for our club, then couldn't give a shit, Benjamin. What the fuck you do in your spare time, mate? I really, really couldn't. And if you wanted to stick the tinfoil out on and pray to the aliens and call yourself Daphne, fucking crack on, mate. Don't care. Really don't. The other bit I want to talk about was it's about two former legends, really. The first one's Thierry Henry. It's nothing. People have gone a little bit nuts about the comments that he made about Mikel Arteta. And excuse me, I'm just going to drink my pink gin and lemonade. That's the sort of geezer I am. Cheers. So we're all entitled to opinions, and it's something I talk about a fair bit, in that we need to respect each other's opinions. And don't fall out with somebody just because their opinion differs from yours. You know, we're all different. That's the way it's supposed to be. And Thierry Henry came out and said, effectively, I don't know the exact quote, but effectively, we're not where he thought we would be at this point under Mikel Arteta's reign, which is fine. You know, he's entitled to an opinion. Maybe it was a slow news day. You know, I've got my opinions. Mine on Mikel Arteta have fluctuated loads. I've always said I've never really been in or out. There have been times when I've been more in and more out. But essentially, I'm thinking that from my point of view, if you were to really, really push me on it, I would be more Mikel Arteta in, because I want him to succeed. And when you think after we won the FA Cup, and I know the Community Shield's not classed as a major trophy by a lot of people, but when you look at, in 3 games, we did Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool. Granted, Liverpool was on pens, but that was the start. You know, this bright new future that we all envisaged. Then obviously last season, the wheels fell off massively, and it was just a entirely horrendous thing. And I'm scratching it from my memory, to be honest. So you could say after the initial signs, yeah, we're probably not where we thought we would be. And for Thierry to say things like that, that's fine. He's entitled to his opinion. The thing I find most interesting is where he's coming from. Now, what is his angle here? Is it as an Arsenal fan, being disappointed that we're not where we all thought we would be a year or so ago? Is it coming from the point of view of being a, you know, former player, legend, ex-captain, and obviously he was part of a team that was literally stratospheres above where we are now. It weren't even, you can't even say it's different ballpark, it's a different game. The sides that he was part of, especially in their pomp, unrecognisable from what we are now. Or is he coming at it from the point of view that he's very much a part of Daniel Ek's supposed takeover bid, and since he was unveiled as part of this bid, whatever his role is now, I don't know what his role is. I don't know what his role has ever been. Is it that he's looking at, you know, taking the reins of the first team? These are questions that pop up in my head. Now you look at Thierry's management experience. I think he's been at Montreal and Monaco roughly 4 months in each job, which doesn't suggest to you that he's absolutely smashed it out the ground. That would suggest to you, if you've had 2 jobs and each one's lasted about 4 months, you haven't done a brilliant job. Assistant at Belgium to Roberto Martinez, you know, he seems to be doing all right there. But then you look at the players that they've got, and that group of players should have won something. There's no other way to paint it. You look at that squad and those players, and it's another one of these golden generations, like the Portugal of the 90s, the England of the early 2000s. You know, you look at I'm not even going to name the players, you'll know who they are. You know, like I say, it's an opinion, we're all entitled to it. I've got mine, but I wouldn't end up being quoted in the Sun, whereas Thierry has been. One thing I would say about Mikel Arteta, like I say, essentially I'm in because I want him to succeed. And I think when he came in, he had an awful lot of detritus that he had to get rid of. There was so much toxicity in that dressing room, and there now seems to be harmony. And I think when a new boss comes in and they need to shake things up, they'll go one of 2 ways. They'll build from the back, or they'll concentrate on the attack. And if they're concentrating on the attack, they will accept that they've got to score 3 or 4 goals to win every game, because they know they're going to ship loads. Alternatively, you build from the back. And you look at our back 5 now, short of getting any major injuries or suspensions, that's solid. And there's decent enough backup for the odd game. But I'm impressed with what he's done with the building from the back. We still need things to be done when it comes to attacking and creating chances and taking those chances. But if you're not conceding, you can't lose. And this isn't a Mikel Arteta PR stunt or anything. I'm just saying how it is and how I feel about things at the moment. I felt entirely different after the first leg against Villarreal last season. I was ready for him to go. So I may have flip-flopped a little bit on that. But like I say, essentially I think all the way along I've been in because I want him to succeed. The other person I want to speak about is Patrick Vieira, because obviously he comes back to the Emirates. I think he's only played like one exhibition game there, but he comes back to the home of Arsenal on Monday night as Crystal Palace manager. And obviously he'll get a great reception. That should go without saying. Hopefully we'll get 3 points against them. But I think this game as well puts a massive amount of pressure on Mikel Arteta. There are comparisons to be drawn. Obviously, they've both been captains of the club. You can't compare their playing careers at all. Like Vieira is like literally levels above anything that Arteta achieved in his career. And if anyone asks me who is the best midfielder you've ever seen, like in the flesh, excuse me, it's Vieira, hands down. There's one of the games that I went to, I made a point of just watching what he did, not just because you watch on telly, you see what he's doing when he's got the ball. I want to see what he's doing off the ball, like what his movements like, how he reads the game, how he is with other players. And the bloke had everything, absolutely everything. And to be fair, early signs at Palace, he's doing all right. Now, if he turns us over at our place, he's done coaching and he's had management jobs. But Mikel Arteta's been in this job nearly 2 years now, and people will look at Vieira as a rookie, and if he comes and does the job, then those comparisons will just build to the pressure that Mikel Arteta is going to be under. So we'll see what happens on that. That's about it, really. Like I say, it's been the international break. Have another one coming up soon. Presumably, it's because they're squeezing all the games in because the Qatar World Cup's next November or whatever. But all things being well, next time I'll do a video, we'll be chatting about Arsenal smashing Crystal Palace and Aston Villa next Friday as well, because that's one I want to beat them really badly. Anyway, until that point, like I said, don't forget to hit that like button. If you like this, subscribe to the channel. Go on. It would be really, really nice if you could. If you don't want to, it's fine. Totally understand. But until next time, have a very pleasant evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are, or whenever you watch this. See you later.